let's go ahead and start this recording. I am going to go ahead and set a poll up very quickly here and launch it. You should be able to see that. I want to know, do you currently use Bloomz? And are you a premium user or a free teacher account user right now? So let's go ahead and put your poll in so we know who's coming to our session and how to cater what we're discussing to the needs that you have today. Yay, lots of users in the classroom. We got free users, Chaks. Free is free. It's a nice program, even for free.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Great. So it looks like a lot of us in here are premium users. We have one person that's using a free teacher account, and we have one person that looks like they have not been using it in the classroom. So we're really excited to answer your questions and talk to you about Bloomz today. I'm going to go ahead and close our poll, and I'm going to introduce myself first. My name is Bobbi Jones, and I'm the Director of Customer Success for Bloomz. And I'm here to ensure the implementation, the training, professional development, and use of Bloomz is substantial and effective throughout your classrooms and your school districts. We also have Chaks here today, who is the CEO of Bloomz. Chaks, will you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm Chaks. I'm the founder and CEO, as Bobbi introduced me. I'm not sure if I've interacted with some of you. I am also pretty active in some of the teacher forums and then our support channels. So, but if not, it's great to meet you all and look forward to answering any questions and then walking through some of the functionality that Bobbi is going to walk us through today.
Yeah. So some things that we wanted to focus on today are some basic postings. And of course, we're happy to take any of your questions in the Q&A while we are talking, and we'll look at those and address those as we move through our time together. I think, first of all, I really wanted to ensure that you as customers and as those that are using Bloomz, I wanted to make sure that you knew where supports were for Bloomz. And I think that's the biggest thing, is understanding where you can gain a lot of access. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen today with you. And I want you to see a few things about Bloomz that are important for you. The first one is the help desk. There are teacher resources in here that are very important for you and that you can download and utilize for your classroom, for your school, as maybe a train the trainer, supporting your parents for onboarding, and supporting your students for onboarding. So we have detailed guides in here, step-by-step, getting started with a PDF. We also have a parent letter template for you to access to invite your parents and help them understand what Bloom is, with the Spanish version as well. Another area, parent introduction to Bloomz. This file is really helpful for you to introduce your parents. The parents intro letter to the behavior management, if you're using that in your school. Code of conduct, and then there's some PowerPoint slides for you to utilize with parents at an open house so that you can go through the slides and help them understand what Bloom is, how the communication works in Bloom, and your expectations, as well as how you're going to serve them in communicating so that that community within your classroom gets that much closer. So I would really look at downloading these and utilizing them for the beginning of the year. And we can go ahead and put that in the chat as well, so you have this link and direct access for this. So this is one area that I thought was so important for teachers to hear, getting started, getting your classroom ready to go for the beginning of the year. The next place that I wanted to share is the Beginning with Bloomz clips. And this is all of the trainings on demand that have been built, and they are on YouTube, but they are within Bloomz, and they are demand teacher trainings with lots of helpful videos, lots of helpful resources and articles that are associated with teacher training, first-year teachers, second-year teachers into Bloomz, that really want to dive deeper and really understand how to utilize Bloomz really effectively and focus intentionally on communication with your parents and or your students, depending on their age. So you're going to find all of this. Last week, we talked about teacher basics, but you have lots in here, beginning parents on Bloomz, beginning students on Bloomz, and beginning with post and announcements, which is surely the point of beginning to utilizing Bloomz within your classroom, is posting on Bloomz, much like a feed for a social media is what happens with your Bloomz, right? You all know the platform of Bloomz since you're using it, and it's very much like that Facebook feed or a social feed that we can post on to really engage and assure the parents of what's going on in your classroom, to be that community rather than just a solo classroom with you only responsible of what's going on in there. So there's a couple places I really wanted to point you out in featuring. There's a couple new areas too that you're really going to want to focus on with student portfolios and the activities and assignments area. So be sure to look at these areas within Bloomz. Lots of support for teachers. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close my sharing really quick and come back to you. Chaks, did you want to say any more? I'm going to put in the link that I just grabbed while you share. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think maybe I just wanted to see if maybe you can also guide them through how to go from within the app to the support center and also find them these resources, because I think it will be helpful for them in case they don't find these links or they misplace them. You can always get to these resources right from within the app and launch the support channel, and from there how you can see if you can maybe guide them through that.
Definitely. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. I'm going to hide my little floating controls real quick so you guys can see the full screen. And I'm actually going to go ahead and scroll all the way up, and I just want to go to my Bloomz where I log in to Bloomz. If we go ahead and go to support, support is always right at the top of the Bloomz website, and it's on your cell phone as well when you are looking at Bloomz. It looks like we have, I'm happy to help here from Bloomz, so we can go ahead and chat right then and there. Do you see that down there? So we always have some support going on. I like that little happy face on the V. When we click on support, very easy to access the support. It's helpful for me as a fellow educator to just see that if I'm a teacher, I can go here. School administrator can go here, a student right here, and a parent. We can see all the resources by clicking into these areas and seeing that we have the availability of so many resources here. We can see right down here all of these areas that are going to be very important for us to understand as we're working in Bloomz. And there's many different ways we can do that. We can search for a particular feature that we want to know about. I'm going to look up assignments. And we can see that there's lots of different topics and facts on these different areas. And I want to know, how do I view complete assignments as a student? Or how do I schedule assignments as a teacher? And I can go directly to this area to get the screenshots and understand how to go through this step by step in order to gain this understanding of how to utilize Bloomz for this topic. I'm going to go ahead
and then just one go back to the home screen again of the support, and then I just wanted to, if you can scroll down right there, scroll down. Yeah, see, right there is the on-demand training. We put it right as the third item. Yep, right there. That's the one that you took them to earlier.
Yep, that's right there. New features. So probably the most updated and pertinent to you really understanding the latest and greatest of Bloomz would be on that page right down here at the bottom. Troubleshooting. I love this troubleshooting area because it's just those simple things that you're frustrated with, like not seeing my class or the access code is not working, that you can get help with right away. So be sure to access these areas for help with anything that you're working on in Bloomz. And if you don't find what you're looking for, then we can definitely help you with that. We have some support within Bloomz. There is a lot here. Look at all of these different areas that these topics like volunteer requests, messages, translation. We really have covered all of it in Bloomz, and it is just a matter of coming here and finding what you need and getting some help. But we are always here otherwise if you don't find what you need. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go back really quick because I wanted to put that link that we just went to into the chat as well. There you go. There's that area that you can access to get what you.
One other thing you can also show them is if they're already in the app. So go back to your screen where I think there was a question about how do I find these resources from within the app. If you can go right here, yeah, at the bottom you see that support. Go ahead and click on that. And you see the first link there is the View Support Center. And that will open up in a new tab. So this is another shortcut for you to get to all these resources.
Yeah, super easy, isn't it, Chaks? I like it. There's so much wealth of support on this website for you to get questions answered right away. And I know how important it is for teachers to get their questions answered right away, and you do not have time to wait. And it really has been answered in many ways. So, yep, definitely. We've got a lot of features for you there. All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing for just a second. And I really wanted to show you that because I think that utilizing support is so helpful. And really, we want to support the teachers in their use of Bloomz. And we don't want to see you be frustrated with not understanding where to access support and how to get the help that you need. So I have some questions, and I really want to involve the people that we have here. And I want you to go ahead and type into everyone into the chat. I have a couple questions, and we're gonna all work together and communicate together really quick. And I want you to answer in the chat, how many times a week do you post in Bloomz? So just put in the number. How many times a week do you post to your parents in Bloomz? And I put 7. Daily, yep. Okay, that's really, Nancy, that's a good point. As a administrator, 1 time a week. Mimi, your year hasn't started yet. I bet you're excited. All right. Well, posting as we get into the school year is very important as it benefits our communication with parents. But how often should we be doing that for consistency in order to really develop that culture within our classroom so that parents know exactly where to go for communication? So when we look at that, we need to really start thinking about it takes a while for people to build a habit, and it takes a while for parents to build a habit to access something that you're utilizing in your classroom. So building that habit and using it daily is very important so that parents know consistency of where to go, how to utilize the app, and that they can trust that your communication is always going to be in that same place. And we're going to talk about posting today and how to do the postings and the different types of postings that we have in Bloomz. Chaks, did you want to add any more to how important it is to start that habit and that culture within the classroom to post consistently?
Yeah, a couple of points that I'd like to bring up here, which are somewhat related, is that one of the things that Bloomz makes it easy for you is that the moment you invite parents, so there are multiple ways you get parents onto Bloomz. You can obviously share a code, but when you share a code, you're waiting for the parents to take the next step before they start receiving your communications. So they have to either sign up on the app, they have to send a text to register, but you are still waiting for the mercy of the parents in some sense to be able to start effectively communicating. On the other hand, if you have the parents' email or phone number or a combination, you can simply input them before you start communicating. And then the moment you invite them, they are receiving 100% of your communications through notifications, even if they're not on the app, if they have not registered also. So that's one key point. It's important so that way, if you have already parent contact, just go ahead and invite them over as parents in your class so that you can start using the app right away, which leads into the next point, which is the more you communicate with Bloomz, because your parents are receiving all your communications. Now, the more you communicate and the more richer content you are putting out there, like including photos of activities that are happening in the classroom or field trip or whatever happening, the more you share the rich content, or maybe scheduling volunteers, scheduling parent-teacher conferences, or requesting health checks. So things that require parents also to participate actively, they're going to be drawn into the app. Now they want to be part of it. They want to actively communicate and coordinate with you. So just wanted to kind of, make sure that you are obviously upload the profile picture up front, so that when you are sending your communications, they feel welcomed. It's not just some name that they're dealing with, but it's really a person, and they get that connection the moment they see a picture of you and start communicating more often. So those are the things that I would like to add.
Yes, I agree with you. And I think when we build that habit of using it consistently, then the parents will also build that habit of knowing exactly where to go. So often in schools, there's so many ways that we communicate or we don't communicate at all. And so as a parent, if you're a parent and working with parents, that can be really frustrating, really not knowing how the information is coming. And then parents get frustrated with searching out the information. But if it is easy like it is with Bloomz, that it just comes right to them, then the ease of use and the habit just builds that much quicker, and the trust and the companionship within the classroom to build that community is huge. So I wanted to go ahead and share. We're going to go ahead and watch the video on posting today. So I'm gonna have to go back to where we can get to those articles. So let me go back up because we've got lots of information right here. I'm gonna go back to the on-demand training for teachers so you can see that and click into this. And then I want to go to beginning with post announcements, because this is what we're talking about today. And I want to ensure that we are able to watch more about how the post announcements, alerts, and messages work. And then we can have a discussion about that and have some questions and answers as soon as this is done.
Bloomz allows you to have multiple ways to communicate with students, parents, and staff, whether you need to send a message to an individual, a group, a class, or multiple classes. Today, we will walk through sharing posts, announcements, alerts, and messages with your parents, students, and staff. Before diving into this, let's take a look at where you would click on the web app version, signing in at bloomz.com on a computer, and in the mobile app to send this communication. When signing into bloomz.com on the web browser, You will need to click the plus create button at the top right-hand corner of the screen to send a post, announcement, or alert. To send a message, you will need to make sure your message center is expanded by clicking the message icon in the top right-hand corner and click plus message. On the mobile app, you will simply need to click the plus icon in the lower right-hand corner of the screen to share a post, announcement, or alert. To send a message or group chat, you will click the messages icon at the bottom of the app and click the plus icon. We are first going to walk through sending a post, which is typically used to share a quick update, reminder, or share a photo or important document with a class. Click into the class you would like to share a post and click the plus icon. Select Post. You might see some templates drafts that you can use, but we'll look at these more in a bit. Click Create New. Next, you will select the recipients of the post. You can click directly on the recipient list to edit this, or click the circle icon next to the names on the list below to check or uncheck names. There is a search bar that can help you quickly find names of parents or students, especially if it's a larger class. You can also click the blue 5 roles link under the class name to adjust who you want to be able to view these posts: students, parents, teachers. Click Done. After you have selected the recipients, you can also adjust the sender. This could be valuable if there are multiple teachers in the class and you don't want this post showing as just from you. Next, enter the text content. We do recommend entering both a title and a description. Keep in mind that the title will be the first to show up in any text message notifications. Click the photo icon to add a video or photo or multiple photos to your post. Videos are limited to 250 megabytes, which is typically around 2 minutes in length. Click the microphone icon to record or attach audio. Click the folder icon to attach any documents. Click the clock to schedule this post for a future date and time. If you are a Bloomz for Schools premium user, you might also see the phone icon, which is the ability to turn on the robocall for this post. This is a recorded phone message or voice call to the recipients. You can also click the comment icon to disable or enable the ability for parents to comment on your post. Lastly, if the post is not a scheduled post, you can share it directly on a Facebook, Twitter, or web or RSS feed if you have a class webpage. Click Post to send this to your recipients. After sharing a post, you can always go back to that post on your feed and review who initially shared it, viewed it, and commented or liked the post. Under the sender's name, there's a list of recipients. This is clickable. You can also click the eye icon or viewed under the post to see more information. You will first see a list of people who have not viewed the post yet. You can click Re-Notify to re-push this notification to this group of people. To edit or delete a post, click the arrow in the top right corner of the post and click Delete, or you can click the Edit. Keep in mind that if you edit, this changes the post in your feed. This will not resend a new notification to your recipients. Announcements are posts that you would like to remain at the top of your feed for a period of time. To create an announcement, click the plus create or plus icon in the app and select the announcement. Click Create New. Select your recipients and click Done. Now choose the dates you would like this announcement to show in the feed. Type your message. We recommend that you include both a title and a description in the body of this. You can also select to add photos or videos, record or attach audio, attach files, turn on or off the robocall notification for these announcements, and disable parent comments. Click Post and confirm by saying Send Announcement to share this. After posting an announcement, you will see this announcement both in the class at the top of the feed, as well as at the top of the feed and show for all groups. If you're wanting to edit or delete the assignment, you can click the small down arrow in the top right corner of the box. You can also click the announcement to see details to remind you who you shared this with, and you can click into who viewed the assignment by clicking the eye icon. There is a re-notify option to select if you would like to re-push the notification to a group of members who have not viewed it yet. You can also use the options in the top right corner to edit or delete the announcement. There's also a shareable link you can click on to copy this link to directly message this to any of your class members. Alerts are a way to immediately alert your members in a group of an announcement. Alerts send notifications to your members immediately, regardless of their preferences. Click the plus create icon and select alert. Choose your recipients and type your message. You do have options similar to posts and announcements to attach media, audio, files, and more. When you're ready to send the alert, click Post in the top corner and Send Alert. If you would like to see who has viewed the alert or commented on it, or even edit or delete the post, it is the exact same method as you would do for announcements and posts. Messages allow you to send one-on-one or group chats to members in the class without being displayed on the feed. Make sure your message center is expanded on the desktop. Click plus message to create a new message. Next, select your recipient by clicking the circle icon next to the group or person. Or you can search for the name in the search box. Click Done. Type your message. You can also attach a video, image, or file to the message. Click Send when ready. In the message thread, you will be able to see if the parent or student viewed the message yet. Note that Bloomz does not track the read receipts for teachers and administrators in Bloomz. You can also click Options on the message to copy or delete it. In the entire message thread, if you click the Options link at the top right corner, you can print it. Here are a few tips for group messages. If you are included as a recipient of a group message, you will notice that there is a message at the top that reminds you this is a group chat. As a recipient, you can click on Options in the top right corner to delete the conversation, but will need to ask the sender to start a new thread if this does not pertain to you. If you started a group message, you can view members. Currently, there's not a way to remove a member or mute a group chat, so you will need to start a new group chat if a member is no longer relevant or needed on the chat. One last tip as you are starting to use Bloomz for messaging your parents and students. If you turned on the student-to-student communication in your class settings, this will allow students to message one another. You will be able to see all of the messages students send to one another by clicking the Student Message Threads blue link at the top of your message center.
All right, so we learned a lot more about messaging and posting and announcements and alerts. There is a lot that we're able to do. I wanted to go ahead, I'm going to unmute, and I just want to have a discussion about how you're using your posting and talk about any questions that you may be having with Bloomz, with messaging. I wanted to be able to open up to the people that are in the room today to see what we can help you with and any questions you have related to Bloomz. I mean, really, we're open. Mimi, I know that you had a question. First of all, did you want to go ahead and share that with us?
Sure, I always have 8 million questions.
Okay.
First of all, what is the difference between a post and an announcement? When would I want to use a post? When would I want to use an announcement?
That's a really good question. Posts are typically social feeds that a teacher puts on there that will always be within your feed, that stay on there. An announcement has a timeline, so it's announcement for maybe an open house. And the time scheduled that you put in there, it will eventually drop out of your feed, like on that middle feed. Let's go ahead. I'm going to share while we're discussing. I think I'll go ahead and share the screen to show.
So an announcement has an expiration date.
It does. Yeah, typically has an expiration date.
Now, will new members have access to old posts?
Yes. Yeah. Any new member as long as the post is sent to the entire class, any new member that joins the class will continue to see all posts sent to the whole class. If you
Okay.
send it to specific members, obviously the new person will not see them. Make sense?
Yes, thank you.
And
Mimi,
then,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, just wanted to maybe add to what Bobbi, you shared about the difference between post, announcement, and alert. I think of them as the regular, important, and urgent,
Yeah,
right? So if you apply that criteria, the regular communication goes as post. Then important means this is something that's upcoming. You want to definitely draw their attention to it. So because the announcements are like pinned posts at the top of the feed during a particular window. And then an alert is a time sensitive one, like emergency communication, power
Right.
outages, school closures, weather related issues. The reason is that in case of an alert, even if the parents choose to not get notified for all types of other communications, an alert is something that overrides and sends it through email, text, app, any means that we have with them. So that way, and then it also prepends the word called urgent communication.
Mhm.
So it kind of really distinguishes between a regular communication and the emergency communication. So yeah, definitely do not overuse it. For normal communications, if you start using alert, then your parents will become insensitive to the importance and the urgency of it. So, but yes, that hopefully that explains more.
Absolutely, thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
Thank
maybe you see at the top on this page, the announcements are pinned to the top of the page where the rest of our post updates just are within this communication. Our alerts will actually have a red band on it and they will be at the top as well. Mimi, did you have any more questions?
Oh, yeah. Okay, one other thing that I have been, as I said, we kind of grew into this last year and said, okay, let's try it. And so now I'm really trying to figure this out. One of the things that I had concerns with last year, I would post a picture and it would just automatically go without a thing saying, are you sure you want to post this? Is this the one you want to post? There's no lag time, it just goes. Instead of, what if I hit the wrong one, or that's not,
So you actually, I'm not sure. Yeah, if you can maybe open a post creation, Bobbi, anyway.
Yeah.
Any picture that you're uploading, you actually will be able to see, just like an email, you will be able to see before you send a post, you will be able to see the picture.
no, it just posts.
No, so in fact, we can try it right now. Let's say you can create a new post. So you want to go ahead and can you upload a picture?
Oh, actually, I have not done this via post. I've done it via message. Maybe
Oh,
That's
Okay.
why.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So in case of message, okay. So we'll that's a good feedback taken. So we'll try to give you a confirmation before we.
Okay.
Yeah. So that now I understand. Thank you for raising that one.
Okay, perfect. And then I just wanted to show on the posts as we were talking about them. And I know this is a message, actually the message issue over here to the right when you're messaging families or parents. But on a post, you do have the ability to always edit or delete the post as you're working in there and print. So you can always use the drop down if you messed up or you need to edit. Here is the drop down for that. You can see that my posts are translated into Spanish because I chose my primary language to be in Spanish in my settings. And parents can also choose their primary language too to have it automatically translated. I can always click on original to get it back to the English language as well. So there's over 100 languages to choose from, and you can have that available to you as well. Anybody want to have some time to ask some questions about posting and working within Bloomz?
There is some new question from Tamara. This is more about assignments, but we can probably
Okay.
move on to that if nobody else has any specific question on the current topic. So does an assistant teacher at preschool, I use posts and announcement a lot, but does assignments really have meaning to our 3 to 5 year olds since we do not send assignments home? So I know that assignments, particularly for those young ones, maybe the kids themselves may not do it, but the parents potentially could be the ones that take pictures. It could be simple, we know lots of teachers in schools that use it as a means to engage the families, even during holidays for that matter. Like it may be, what was the fun activity that you guys did over the weekend, or in the holidays? And then they want them to just post that activity, maybe a picture of that, or respond to it with some other video of it and so on. So you can do that. Of course, you also have a rich way to engage or extend the learning, saying that, hey, here is some worksheet that we want you to do at home. So I think this could be a resource that the parents can use to extend the topic that you may be teaching them in the classroom, and then that's the way the kids get extra practice at home. So I guess the tool is extremely powerful. You still have a choice in terms of how you want to embed it into your pedagogy, but I hope that makes sense. Any follow-up question there?
I used it last year, and it was mainly posts and announcements, and messages to the parents saying, Bobby's not going to be in school today, and I would how's Bobby today? Is he going to be in today? Or I would also, like, sometimes I'd message a parent to say, oh, don't forget to bring the red bag back. I just want to learn more about like portfolios and everything that's in there and what other people use it for.
Yeah, I believe, Bobby, you can mention which day, but we are going to dig deeper specifically into assignments and portfolios in one of the webinars, maybe even coming up later this week or next week.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm being an educator and a mom myself too, and our experiences, and you probably know about Flip the Classroom type of a learning where you could send this assignment, a song home that you want the students to learn with the parents. You can really utilize this assignment area to bring more depth of what you're trying to teach within the home. So the parents learn to sing with the students and are part of that classroom and understanding what the students are doing with you, and they're part of it. I think there's such a disconnect when we put our children in childcare. We don't know the songs often. We don't know how they're learning their ABCs. We don't know what songs they're doing for 1, 2, 3s, or just sharing those assignments with the parents. So we kind of give them some insight and understanding on how they can help boost this little child's learning, even with those songs, even with some worksheets that could help at home if the parents, because most often, the parents really want to help. I mean, they really want their kiddos to be successful. So these assignments, I guess if you look at it a different way, is it, like Chaks said, it's not for the students. It's really inviting your parents into your class and helping them help share it. Does that make sense?
Yes, that really helps. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you for coming back on. It was quiet. I was like, where did she go? Yeah, I just think I think
I
that
thought you could see me. I'm over here waving with a thumbs up, going yes, yes. But
and then specifically, the portfolios are a great way to attach pictures onto a particular child's activities that that only go to that particular parent. So that way you can keep the photos somewhat secure and private to just the families, and then you can keep doing that photo sharing with the families, but attached to the particular child's portfolios.
yeah, and tomorrow that is so important because you may have some students that are delayed in learning and you want them to be ready for that song in their classroom, and you're sending that stuff through the portfolio to that specific parent so that when that student comes to class after practicing at home and in school, they are successful and they feel good about what they're doing. So I love this concept. And this is something, flip the classroom. If you are going to start a song or you're going to start a new learning topic, hand off that information to the parents a week ahead of time so they can get that kiddo prepared for what's coming up. And then when they come into classroom, they're already ready and they feel that joy of success rather than struggling with the rest of the kids. They feel the joy of success. So there's just a lot of different ways you could utilize this and really include the parents in really helping that student to feel good and successful in the class rather than, that absence of understanding, which is really frustrating. So those are some things that I would use the assignments in portfolio for. If it were, I think that the parents they sincerely want to be part of their child's lives and learning, and that's where I would put it. And I would really start building that relationship with the parents there. There are any other questions? Oh, go ahead, Chaks.
No, I think I like the word, that relationship with the parent. I think that's the key. I mean, when we built, I personally built Bloomz, it was when my kids were going, my daughter was in 2nd grade and my son was in kindergarten. So, but I can see even at 3 to 5 year old, the parents would be eager to, be part of their extended learning. So yeah, I would encourage that.
Yeah, I would too. Is there any other questions as we open our room to you? We are here for you. And I just wanted to embrace the people that came today and help you. Are there any other questions today?
I think there is one question in the chat. Where can we find the school code and class codes? And does class code give the parent access to Bloomz, or is it the school code? What's the difference in terms of the access level? Good question. So if I can jump in there, I think that the simplest way to get parents into both the classrooms and school, because we maintain the hierarchy, means automatically a school has all the classes underneath. So if you get a parent a class code and they join with that class code, they're joining both the class as well as your school automatically. So that means it's one activity for the parent to follow, to sign up, and then they're both in the classroom and the school. So that's why our recommendation would be just simply give them the specific class code and let parents join there. And the access level, obviously, if they're in the school, they're only seeing the school page. But if they're in the classrooms that their kids belong to, then they're going to receive both the classroom communications and also the school communications.
That is wonderful. Yeah, that was super helpful. Chaks, I wanted to make sure that I got Mimi's questions about where did she find on the app. She went to support, then teachers, and then she's lost from there. So let's go ahead and go back to the app. And
I asked that earlier, and you absolutely showed how to do that.
Oh, good, Mimi. Thank you so much. Awesome. Okay, good. Any other questions as we close today? And
yeah, I think she wanted to see where the codes will be shown. So if you can navigate to school page and navigate to the class pages and show where to find the codes.
Okay.
So right there, actually in the home page itself, go to the home page, and on the cover photo itself, right there, you see that there is a.
There, you know, it's great about Bloomz, Chaks, and I love this. There's so many. There's quite a few different ways to get access to things once you're in the program. But yeah, Chaks just showed us like the most obvious way on the front. I was going to go back way, but there's a lot of different ways to gain access to get your information. It really is about poking around and getting familiar with this as you're using it and knowing that the parents are getting familiar with it too. Any other last questions as we close today?
If I can just ask it, so getting back to the photos, what I was doing last year is I would message everybody, oh, here's some pictures we took on our walk today. And you know, the picture would just go up. So in that case, would you recommend I do a post rather than a message?
If you're sharing, are those specific to a particular parent?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
If they are specific to a particular, so obviously, you know, the communication will reach the parents in pretty much in any of those means. But I think the way I would think about the structure is, if it is related to a kid's specific activities, learning, ongoing updates of a particular child, then I would recommend adding that to the child's portfolio. Okay, so that way it's a record. Then let's say if there is a parent-teacher conference happening, then you want to just quickly go into a particular child's, okay, these are all things that the child has done. See, like that, we can open up a particular child's profile and then simply walk through it. Right there, you can see the, you know, the behavior data, you can see the portfolio data, you can see all kinds of assignments and everything right in one place. Right. So now this is student specific communication. This is how I would categorize that.
If I may, so this is, if we're comparing it with Facebook, this is Alberto Bradley's Facebook page.
Exactly. It's their timeline, or Facebook calls it the timeline.
Wall. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So now, could you send it in a post? Yeah, but then, you know, this gives you that ability to quickly look at what did this child do over the last semester, last quarter, last year. This makes it easy to organize, right?
Yeah, and then if it's a class picture and it's available, you want everybody to see it, just like a social media feed. We're going to be posting right here on our post, so the whole class and everybody within the class can see what happened at the zoo today, right? So, you know, we've got a zoo trip coming up, and that's right there. We have some different updates and pictures and links that's just accessible, things that we are focusing in on for class. These are all here, and they're not specific to one child. It's for our whole class and our PTA group, maybe that's hooked to our class, our parent groups hooked to our class. Everybody gets to have this information. And this probably is going to be where you do the most, is posting on the feed. I mean, this is, you know, here's what's going on today. We're singing this. We've got art going on today in our classroom. Here's what we're doing out in the yard today. You know, it'll probably mostly go in here. Or I need extra shoes for everybody. We're going to the lake to look at, you know, frogs. So those kind of things will go in your posts. Does that make sense? Was that helpful, Mimi?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Awesome. Great. Well, I am so grateful for all of you coming in today, and I hope that this was helpful for you to see more about Bloomz and the postings and to get your questions answered. If you need me and you have questions, I will be back in the webinar on Thursday. I also am available if you have specific questions. I'm going to put my email in here so you can access me. It's easy. Bobbi@bloomz.com. Let me know. I'm excited to work with you, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week.
And we'll have access to this recording?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, just